Jack from B&T McFarland. Today we're going to do a review of the U17 from Kubota, so let's get into it. Behind me is the U17 from Kubota. This is the 1.7 ton excavator from Kubota. Generally we see this get sold to people who are doing interlock in backyards and in generally tight spaces where a larger excavator wouldn't be able to fit. So you still have all the same functionality as a full-size excavator, except its small form factor and adjustable track width definitely allows it to get in through those backyard gates and get in between houses to get the job done where you couldn't take in a 4-ton excavator or even a 6 or 8-ton excavator. So we're going to go over some things today that make it excel in its class and some different attachments that you can get for the front of this U17. Beside me here, this is one of the biggest advantages of going with a U model, specifically the U17 from Kubota. In Kubota's excavator lineup, if you're doing any kind of research, you're going to see U models and KX models. U models like this one here, they're called zero tail swing. So as you can see, the machine is completely horizontal over the side of the track, and the back end actually doesn't stick out over the track at its widest configuration. So if you're doing any kind of digging around people or around houses or property or anything like that, you don't have to worry about swinging the machine around and actually running into somebody's house or hitting somebody with the rear end of the machine. So that is definitely a huge advantage of the U17. Keeping on the same theme of small form factor of this excavator, the width of it in its widest configuration, as you see here, it is 49 inches wide, and there's actually adjustable blade width here too. You just pop a pin and you can swing the blade out to match that 49 inches. The tracks, they're also adjustable. We'll run through that in a moment here, but at its narrowest configuration, you're about 39 inches wide, and the blade can also match that. So a huge advantage, you go in the backyard at 39 inches, and then when you're ready to dig and you need a little bit more ground stability, you widen out the tracks and then you can start digging whenever you get into the backyard. You ready? So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna swing the machine so that your blade and your excavator are opposite of each other. So then you will lower your boom down into the ground, and you will use the actual boom to pick up the rear end of your machine, just like that, and then you'll use your blade to pick up the other end of your machine. So once you pick yourself up in the air like this, there's a lever that is down by your right leg. Pull that up, and then you're actually going to use the blade lever to adjust the tracks. Right now they are at 48 inches. So you can see them get sucked in there. So that's going to be at 39 inches now. That's when you're going through the backyard gates just to get into those tighter spaces. You can do this procedure on the ground without propping yourself up. It's just a little bit easier on the track mechanisms if you do decide to prop yourself up. So right there, we'll push the lever back down. And then once you hear that click, you're in the widest position. Push that back down, and then you can drop yourself from the rear, and then you can pick it up. And now you're good to go. Like most Kubota construction equipment, the track tensioning system is amazing. What you'll do is you'll just pop a little hatch there and then plug your grease gun in, and if you ever need to tension your track, you just pump the cylinder with a little bit of grease, it'll expand and then tension up your track for you. This excavator, for its small form factor, it is very, very capable. So right now it's going to be digging at about 7 feet 7 inches down to a 2-foot flat bottom. The boom itself, it does again reach about 10 feet out, so if you're looking to grab things. But that's not really what this excavator is about, is those big lifting capacity numbers and doing all sorts of deep digging and all that. It's really meant just to get into the backyard and do some trenching and just get the job done in those tighter areas. With that being said too, it does have the one set of remotes up to the front of the boom. So as you can see here, you can run a hydraulic thumb. It will not be on your thumb control like you would see on a larger excavator. It's going to be on a foot control. So if you're looking to do any kind of precise movements and pick up precise objects with this thumb, it might not be the best option for you. You might have to jump up to maybe a 2.7 or a 3-ton excavator. With that being said too, we see a lot of customers, they do get this with a post hole auger, as it's really nice to go into those backyards and have an auger on this and just go one after the other for all your post holes if you're putting up a fence. You can also get a breaker attachment for this too, which is awesome. You can put it inside of somebody's garage and just break up their garage floor if you're doing that kind of application. So I'm up here in the operator's platform and I'm about 5'10", and it's fairly comfortable for me. I don't know if I'd want to be 6'2", 6'3" inside of this, but for a guy my size, it works perfectly fine. Like most Kubotas, it is a normal cat control, so Over here, you're gonna have all your bucking controls and boom controls, and this is gonna rotate the machine on your left-hand throttle, but it's also 2 pattern selects. So underneath the floorboard there, you can pull a lever and you can switch controls if you're used to running a backhoe or something like that. Over here, you do have your blade control for your dozer blade. It does not have a float control on it, so if you're looking to do any kind of grading, you do have to kind of feather this up and down if you want to be precise like that. Your movement controls too. There's not really enough room up here for Kubota to put in foot pedals, so you can't use your feet to move the excavator while moving your excavator at the same time with your bucket, so you do have to use your hands to move the excavator around. On my right foot here, I do have the swing boom, which is an awesome feature from Kubota. It swings pretty far out that way, and then you can get in tight on your left side too, so you can park this along the side of a house and then swing your boom off to the left or right if you need to dig in close to a foundation or do interlock close to houses. And then on my left foot, like I mentioned, that's gonna be your auxiliary control. So right now it's hooked up to a thumb that will control the thumb, but if you had a breaker or an auger, that would be the left and right on your auger, like going clockwise and then counterclockwise out of the hole. And then your breaker, that will be just your on control. So right here it is the engine. It's about 17 horsepower from Kubota, so you don't have to deal with any DPF filters or any emission systems. And we always hear a lot of people asking about the long-term reliability of these excavators. They are absolutely bulletproof. We see them run 2,000–3,000 hours with hardly any issues. A huge selling point too for reliability is we sell a lot of these into rental applications, whether that be to the Home Depot or some local rental companies, and we hardly ever see those machines come back either. As long as you regularly maintain, change all your fluids and filters, and regularly grease your machine, you shouldn't have a problem with this. So pricing on these, Kubota has done a fantastic job pricing this competitively against other models and brands. Right now, for finance price, you're gonna be looking in the neighborhood about $41,000 with just the excavator itself with 2 buckets. That's gonna be a 16-inch digging bucket and a 24-inch flat bucket or a grading bucket. A thumb on these, it will add a little bit more, or auger, anything like that. So right around the $41,000 to $45,000 mark for these excavators. And availability, that's going to be the key question. It doesn't really matter how much it is if you can't get it. Right now we're going to be looking into about July, August until we could get one of these for you. And right now, most of our construction equipment that comes in, it is pre-sold. So if you did want to put your name on one, I'd recommend doing that as soon as possible so that you can secure one for middle to late summer right now. I just wanted to thank you guys for watching, and if you need help with parts, sales, or service, give us a call at 613-225-0555.